We got an anonymous question.
I desperately need some advice, so if anyone can give me any contact details or push me in the right direction on where to even start. But basically, my ex-wife's still married and 2 young children,
So
2
they're
and
not
3.
an ex-wife if you're still married.
Yeah.
That's your wife.
Were born and live in Texas, where I live in the UK, and I am on the birth certificate. We have made it work over the years. However, the past year, things have ended, and it's very toxic. Long story short, she is a narcissist. Aren't they all? And and has completely took my rights away of seeing my children.
That sucks.
I'm allowed a 10-minute video call, which is horrible, once or twice a week, if I'm lucky. She always makes excuses, only at their bedtime, not during the day, and when it's like 3 a.m. here in the UK, and limits what photos and updates I am even allowed to have. It's destroying me so much because I love my children and I have no control being so far away, and she knows it. So if anyone can help me or give me advice, I would really appreciate it.
So this really sucks. And we have had a horrible case recently, exactly like this,
Very
where
similar.
the woman basically kidnapped the kids over to England, and we had all kinds of problems to deal with.
And he's still
And
dealing
problematic and really expensive and things. The good news for this guy is she is still here. If she took the kids to England, their laws are terrible. It's way worse. But the fact that he's over there, but she's here, is a major blessing to him. But he needs to take action immediately because the courts are going to give him plenty of access.
Right.
He's going to get half of the Christmas vacation. He'll get, if he gets the first part of the Christmas vacation that includes Christmas, then she gets New Year's and Thanksgiving.
So let me ask you a question.
He'll get Thanksgiving and half of Christmas.
Is he better to file in the UK or
No.
in Texas?
Texas. And he
Okay.
has to file in Texas because that's where the kids live. If he files in the UK, he's going to get screwed because those laws over there, and from the experience that we've seen, they're going to favor the woman. It's nuts. And it's terrible. It's terrible. He is blessed to be under Texas
Well,
law.
I think it's good for people to know that
Yeah.
it's wherever the children are residing.
Or
for
wherever,
a
if you
period.
can get the court to accept and keep jurisdiction and then negotiate something, hopefully, so that you don't have to go through the hard process. Because when it was the opposite way, it was a 6-figure case.
Right.
This type of case is a 5-figure type of case.
Yeah.
And much less expensive, but he needs to take action right now. He'll also get spring breaks. He'll get half of the summer, and he'll get 1 visit a month if they can make that work based on back and forth, and he will get more access to them. Depending on how old these kids, so 2 young children, 2 or 3, and so we could have it ordered to where she has to let him see him in the morning, for example, which is like his lunch break, because they're 6 hours ahead. And so the whole like, oh, nighttime and dad, like I get it, but him having to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning, like everybody needs to be reasonable about this.
Right.
And I got a lot more questions for him, but that's the exact type of thing that we can help. So what?
Well, I think also this is something that comes up quite often. We have people calling in and they're like, hey, I just moved to Texas and I want to file in Texas. In Texas, you have to be living in Texas 6 months for jurisdiction. I think a lot of people don't realize that.
Yep.
They think that they can move here and immediately file in
that's
Texas.
true. And Texas can take emergency jurisdiction. Any court where the kids are can take emergency jurisdiction, but that doesn't mean that the case is going to stay there.
Yeah.
And so there was one attorney that posted, and actually that just came in and posted about an uncontested divorce and a simple Texas divorce. Like, that is not this guy's situation. This guy needs to be realistic about this. And what I don't want to happen with that is like they hook him in with like, oh yeah, this will be uncontested, no problem. There's something that we never know. We never know which one is going to be the easy one. We never know which one's going to be the hard one.
I'm trying to understand their situation too, because you know it's a little confusing because obviously they're not divorced; they're still married.
He has to get a divorce,
and he's left and went to the UK, and she's in Texas. So, the question is, did they start off in the UK and she moved to Texas, or was he in Texas and he decided to go move to the UK?
That's a great question. I would definitely want to ask him that.
Because in some
but
cases,
it says it would born and live in Texas.
Yeah.
But I live in the UK, so
it sounds
how
like,
did he get?
It sounds like to me he left.
Yeah, it does.
And
But still, you can
and
leave.
how did he leave the situation?
Yeah.
Is he giving her money? Like, what's the situation? Like,
all,
child support, you know?
all of these questions are things that I would be asking
Asking.
him, and why we would need to do a consultation with him.
And I think that's important for people to understand too, why consultations are important. A lot of times people want free consultations, and they're not recognizing that the free consultations out there are usually with a paralegal. They're not with an actual attorney that can give you actual legal advice. So whenever you are paying for a consultation with and getting that advice from attorney, like that is such a value. Like, because in this situation here, there's so many questions. Like, I don't think a lot of people recognize there's so many questions here on just this little paragraph that needs to be asked, so we know what to do.
Yep. And another thing about paying for a consultation, there are attorneys that will actually, even with an attorney, give you a free consultation up to 20 minutes for free. There's only one purpose and one thing that attorney is doing. They're evaluating your case to see whether or not it's a case that they're going to take. You're not going to get any kind of benefit or anything out of that, except you might get a price quote. We do things very differently. When we do a consultation, we actually analyze what their situation is, we analyze where their goals are, and we determine what it is that we need to do to get them from where they are now to where it is that they want to be. And I will give them actual legal advice. A lot of times I will solve their problem even in the phone call, and it's a valuable service. And the thing about it is, to get an attorney at my level, I do it at a discount, and I probably shouldn't. I should probably be at our full attorney rate for those things. But anybody who's doing an hour of that for free, they're going to be, as an attorney, for every 2 cases that they get, they're going to spend 10 hours worth of free consultations. So you're sitting there with an attorney who, in order for them to do 20 or 30 hours worth of billable work, they're going to have to work 50 or 60 hours that week in order to do that. And they're not getting paid for like more than 10 hours worth of their work, because they're going to be spending a lot of time with people who have no intention of paying for them. So by you paying for an initial consultation, it tells them that you're actually serious, and it screens them out. And if there's an attorney who doesn't have enough business and they have to do free consultations, you're not an attorney that simply, there's not a demand for their services. It's not something that you want unless there's no other choice. But you got to understand the difference of the attorney that you're sitting in front of. And if they're doing that, you know, there are attorneys that do that, but you're exactly right. Most of the time, it's like, it's not what people think. You need to ask them in that, are you going to give legal advice? Are we going to solve the problem? What is it that they're going to do during this first hour? This is the Lawyer Dana Show.